Okay, great. It's my pleasure to talk a little bit about our submission to the HCIR 2012 challenge, a system called Virtu. And we are a group consisting of myself, Luann, Christoph Kessler, who's going to do the demo part of the presentation, Mike Huggett, who's over there for backup, and Edie Rasmussen, who wasn't able to be here today. We're all members of the Digital Information Interaction Group at the University of British Columbia. Now, the URL for Virtu is up on the two boards, so if you want to play along, you're welcome to. And there's also a few handouts on the chair there if you wanted a takeaway memento. Okay. So what was our concept? It's been really interesting to see the different systems and the different takes that people have taken on the challenge. Our approach was really more of an interface design approach. And so our general concept was that we wanted a system that's integrated with Mendeley or alongside Mendeley, so it connects into the Mendeley system rather than a standalone system. We were emphasizing a system that's simple to use, and so you'll see that we've opted for ease of use over a kind of fine-grained user control and transparency. So there's a little bit of magic hidden in there, but it is easy and interactive interface. We wanted to support direct, dynamic, and interactive exploration of these profiles, and so that was our main interest here. And we want to support a wide range of search strategies, so to support the full range of these kinds of tasks. So some of those are the classic known item search, find a specific person. The subject search, find people in a specific discipline. Keyword search across profiles and publication abstracts. Also prototype search, so the ability to find people similar to a given person that you've identified. And social search, which is a variation on that, so you can find people connected to a particular person that you're interested in. And then just straight up exploration to start with a broad set of profiles and then filter and browse through that set of profiles. One of the other underlying concepts here is a task-based approach to the concept of expertise. And so we started with the 3 tasks that were part of the challenge. So we have a hiring task, program committee and keynote task, and an expert testimony task for a patent scenario, as you've already heard a number of times, these tasks. And we deconstructed them a little bit to say, what aspects of expertise are important in these different kinds of tasks? So for the first one, in a hiring task, we'd like to have evidence of applied knowledge or some kind of practical expertise in the world. Also, we'd like to be able to trade off that relationship between reputation and experience. So you'd like to have people who, even though they don't have a lot of experience, they have relatively high reputation, the kind of young stars that would be the people to hire. And also people who have networking skills, so they have some kind of social network. The program committee, we thought things like subject knowledge, obviously in the academic context, networking skills as well, and depending on the conference, some evidence of multidisciplinarity, so kind of disciplinary breadth of the individual. And then for the third one, we thought about reputation is very important for this kind of scenario, subject knowledge again, and some years of experience. So in the course of this analysis, we came up with these 6 dimensions of expertise, we're calling them, and these are the ways in which these things are presented to the user to manipulate. So subject knowledge, applied knowledge, experience, reputation, connectedness, and multidisciplinarity. And what we did in looking then at the Mendeley data set to see what sources of evidence we could pull out of that data set to support these different dimensions, you see them listed there. So we rely heavily on the number of academic publications for subject knowledge, the number of publications in non-academic publication types, which is something that Mendeley gives us. The years have elapsed since the date of first publication represents experience to us. Connectedness, you can see the number of contacts, the number of groups, the number of co-authors. and multidisciplinarity is the number of disciplines represented in their publications in the system. So what we like about this framework is that, as you've heard already, there's some issues with the Mendeley data in terms of extracting really useful features. And so we think that this is an extendable system, that if we have other evidence from other systems, we can just sort of feed it into these dimensions. And so it gives us a bit of flexibility moving forward. So the Virtu system, we simply used Apache Solr, so it's built on an existing open source search system. The advantage of that is that it has good database integration, and the data from Mendeley was in table form, so we could use that quite easily. And it has a built-in faceted interface framework, which we also were keen to use. We had quite a bit, as with all the groups, spent quite a bit of time trying to backfill the Mendeley data through REST and curl, and we pulled out publication details, including abstracts and some images to flesh out the profiles. We had some data cleanup work to do to validate the author publication links, things like that, and there's a little bit more detail on that in our paper. And then we had the issue of how do we rank the results here, because we have very sparse data for many of the profiles, and so simple TF-IDF is not going to work for us. So we came up with a kind of a profile rank approach where we boosted the profiles that had a high knowledge level based on publications and rank, academic rank that is, higher reputation, and we also boosted profiles that had more complete profiles, which is kind of cheating in a way, but it's a user experience approach that says that people are going to get the richer profiles coming closer to the top because there's so many very kind of bleak profiles. We wanted to do that to support a better user experience. Okay, so here's the Virtu interface. The features I want to just quickly highlight. The find, you can search for all matches, you can search a keyword search, you can search for a person's name or for a particular academic discipline. Over here we pull out, we dynamically pull out the areas of expertise from a given search set, result set, so you can limit by area of expertise. And here we have those dimensions of expertise that I talked about represented as sliders. You can set the upper and lower bounds of those. So you can try to look for people with high subject knowledge, relatively low experience, etc. Low connection and multidisciplinarity. Here is a more detailed look at the profile that we put together. Here's our friend Max. What we did here, first of all, is we used a visualization feature to show Max's or anyone else's score on the 6 dimensions with the blue bars. So you can quickly scan through a set of results and see, who's got high connectedness, who's got high subject knowledge. These are links that go directly to the Mendeley profile and also from the publications. We display the top 3 publications based on readership data. So in a sense, the more popular publications show up. And then for every profile, we'll allow a searcher to find similar profiles. This is the prototype search. The similar profiles are basically in the same discipline area, and they have the same or similar expertise profile as well. So it's kind of a simple approach. And then find related profiles. This is really what we've done with the social data in Mendeley. It doesn't extend much beyond this, but you can find people who are co-authors, people who are in the same groups to any given individual. And I think it's a kind of a simple but useful approach. So that's an overview of the system. I'm going to invite Christoph up to give you a bit of a live demo on some of the tasks. Okay,
can you hear me? Good. Then we go to, well, you heard about the tasks in summary. So I will just start with task number 1 in detail and then briefly go to the other 2. For this, we go to, should be up already. It's looking nice. So we have here this drop-down menu, which basically says all matches, searches across all profile and publication information. Expertise in relates to the Mendeley taxonomy in terms of disciplines and subdisciplines. And you could just search limited to the person's name, so that if somebody has a name that could also be in area of expertise, then you wouldn't mix that up. For the first task, the hiring scenario, it's a user experience designer is being searched by IBM. So user experience design would be our search terms, and then you see we have 185 profiles. We want to limit that down, obviously. So we can go here in this area and limit by areas of expertise. It's more it's a design job. But it's also a computer and information science area. So we go into these areas of expertise and select design and computer and information science, and that's a logical OR. So because in Mendeley, somebody who creates a profile has to select one main discipline, and we can't end them together because then nobody would show up. So we show all of them. We still have 135 profiles, which is too much to browse through. So we say, okay, it's relatively entry-level position which doesn't require a lot of applied knowledge and a lot of experience. Then we end up still with 82 profiles. So we say, okay, we would want to have somebody who's at least a bit more connected, to have some feelers out there in the community, what is happening in terms of user interface design. So we dial up this slider a bit and end up with 22 possible candidates. And here we could then browse through different ones. I guess I dialed this up a little bit too far. Can browse through different ones. For example, let's take the first one. We go to the Mendeley profile and see here design, emotion, user experience. So that would be a suitable candidate, except for that he's in Germany. That's one thing with the Mendeley dataset we got. There weren't no location information in there. What you could do is crawl the Mendeley profiles and try to extract the location information and then add this to the search interface. Okay, then we go to the second task, which was a conference program, Strata 2013, which has many different aspects to cover, but the main one is big data. So we go into our system with big data as search terms, and we obviously want somebody who has very high applied knowledge, very high experience, and very high reputation. So we end up with only 3 results. We can look at these profiles in more detail, and sometimes Mendeley is a little slow. And here we see research scientist, Oak Ridge National Laboratory, visual analytics, human-computer interaction, big data analysis, which seems to be a very suitable candidate for actually Keynote, at least for a program committee. And the same here for Ilmar, who is the Assistant Director for Informatics in the National Evolutionary Synthesis Center. So these would be 2 examples for very suitable candidates in this respect. we could then go on and search for pervasive or ubiquitous computing, which are other areas of interest for this conference. But let's move on to the third task, which is expertise for patent research. And here it's mostly about the measurement and usage of distributed computing systems. So we are looking for these terms here. Oh, what did I? Oh, yeah. That's so, and here we see that we have only 6 people, and some are in biological sciences. So we want to limit this, obviously, to computer and information science, which leaves us with just 4 people. But what we could do now is find somebody who's related to, for example, this very senior researcher in the field. And what happens here is we obviously need to reset the entire query, because otherwise only this person might show up, or maybe just a few, which means we will give the option to go back to the original search. So now we can go there here and browse through the different profiles of related researchers based on contacts in Mendeley and co-authorship to find additional people for expertise in this subject area. Okay, that's it for the demo. Then issues and future work. Obviously, that was mentioned before in more detail. Data sparsity. Basically, if you look at the profiles that are really usable in terms of having profile information, having associated publications, having connections, having all the possible data associated, then you end up with only 3,000 to 4,000 profiles in about 1 million profiles. So if you do a lot of searching, you will eventually end up with the same people all over again because of this data set. What we want to do is, if Mendeley wants to further this cooperation, we would want to go ahead with the data set, complete it a bit more based on what their API provides, what we can crawl, and then do the user evaluation. If Mendeley doesn't want to go ahead, we could imagine to use this framework for getting data from ResearchGate or academia.edu to user evaluations on their data sets. Obviously, what we need to do is, because researchers are coming from different backgrounds, we need to normalize measures within disciplines. At the moment, we did it across all disciplines. So if somebody is in humanities, obviously they are writing more books than they write journal papers. So the measures across all disciplines will skew the results. We imagined that we could support a broader range of task types, not just hiring and finding program committees and keynote speakers and patent research. And then, obviously, you can always think about many more additional features. Auto-suggest, so we could actually have a context-based auto-suggest saying, if I'm looking for a person, then I only get persons in the auto-suggest list. If I'm looking for an area of expertise, then only based on this. And then saving results, as mentioned yesterday, would be a good idea. We have the link to Mendeley, so if somebody has a Mendeley profile and is linked in, then they could basically add this person as a connection or send a message. That is one way via this integration to save profiles, but it's not a very convenient way. And at the moment, we have to scan, for example, the job description and extract the queries, our query terms ourselves. So a more flexible way of processing the query would be good. Okay. Just to acknowledge one person who helped us with the aesthetics and the layout, another student in our school, Skylar. Any questions, feedback?